we changed location a little bit just because Senor Sylveon is home, so obviously he's in the room and I'm not going to interrupt him playing his games, but we also don't need to hear his commentary in the background now, do we? At least not up close. Super up close and personal. But anyway, let us just jump right into today's video, because if you hear me panting, we just got home from the park. I'm hot. I'm dying. It's like almost 90 out there. But anyway, let us jump right into talking about Bioshock Infinite. So first, we're going to start off with Bioshock game. I'm not really going to go too into depth of the story, because obviously there's a lot of spoilers and you don't want to give stuff away and all that. But the basics is you just start out, you are playing as DeWitt Booker, Booker DeWitt. Why did I say DeWitt Booker? Booker DeWitt. And you go to a lighthouse where you just see a memo of your only mission is bring us the girl, wipe away the dead. It's all you know as you're going up, before you go up to the city of Columbia and try to find the girl, who is of course Elizabeth. So that's really all we're going to go over specifics with the story, because there's just a lot to it, and if you start getting into the even not really spoilery details, like there's just a lot of details to get into, so we're just gonna go with that for the basics. Anyway, let us talk about the gameplay. Bioshock Infinite took a step back in the gameplay, especially considering Bioshock 2 improved so much on gameplay, because for instance, instead of having like a bunch of different guns you can choose from, you can only carry 2 at a time. And now there's nothing wrong with limited on what you can carry, but in a lot of ways, it just feels like having only 2 is a little too limiting. And then another thing, so you have the Vigors, which are like plasmids, but it kind of feels like they were just thrown in to be like, oh, it's a Bioshock game, look, you have like plasmids. But plasmids, I felt like were more important and essential in the other 2 Bioshock games, because for instance, splicers, they were ones who got addicted to the plasmids and everything in the Eve that comes from it, and were always seeking it. So it played more of a role, whereas Vigors, it kind of felt like it just got thrown in because it's like, oh, it's a Bioshock game, we need something similar to plasmids. So in that regard, it kind of felt like it went a step back, and there are more, but I would say like a lot of the plasmids or the Vigors kind of feel like they do the same thing as other ones, so it feels kind of pointless. You only end up using like 2 or 3, and there's really not much point in, if you go for another playthrough, to mix it up. There's really not, which with Bioshock, and especially Bioshock 2, it's definitely worth it and makes sense to mix things up, especially if you're going for multiple playthroughs to just try different things. It makes it completely worth it, whereas this one, no, not so much. I used probably, I want to say, consistently jump between like 3 Vigors, and that was it. Otherwise, for the most part, the game runs, it runs perfectly smooth. The shooting is the same. You do have, Elizabeth actually is kind of helpful in that when you are fighting, she'll go around and pick up ammo, health, salts, which salts are what you use to restore your vigor, and she'll, toss it to you, which that can be a great help, because I found myself many times being like, I'm low on health, and then thankfully Elizabeth finds health and gives me some so that I don't end up dying, which is always good. But you also have a system of, you've got like this hook thing for melee attacks, and you can glide around with it. But I don't know, I kind of feel like, at least for me, like, and this could just maybe be a me thing, not even like the game as a whole, but it just sort of felt like it wasn't fully fleshed out and realized, because I don't know, and like using it for combat, I never enjoyed doing combat on it. Again, that could just be on me, but I just feel like it wasn't implemented that well for combat. Like, I could tell what they were going for and it would have been a great idea, but it just, yeah, it felt like it didn't really do it for me, you know? It wasn't really fully realized. That was a weird sentence, but otherwise there's not a ton of difference in gameplay, minus those downgrades, which kind of feel like, hi Lila, dogs down there, big deal downgrades in my opinion. But now let us move on to the part of the video that's going to take most of this, my thoughts. And I don't think it's a terrible game by any means. The plot twist, Lila, she found the chicken nugget that my youngest daughter left in her car seat. Well, go ahead and get it then, Lila. Eat the chicken nugget. Whatever. But so the plot twist I thought was really good. It in some ways hit me kind of personal, but I feel like that's just because I have a daughter who looks to be about the same age as, you know, the child. Like, I'm gonna kind of talk about spoiler, but not too specific. So, and she kind of looks like her too, so in some ways that just hit me a little more personal, and being pregnant, I'm hormonal anyway. So I'm just a big crybaby anyway. But of course, I feel like that was a good plot twist, but all of the multiverse stuff, it felt like they were trying to go super complicated, but kind of almost for no reason, because it felt like it was getting really complicated with all this multiverse stuff for no real reason. Like, there was definitely a lot of solid stuff going on with the game, like the beginning and everything, and when it was focused in Colombia, and like I said, the ending is good. I just feel like all this Doctor Strange multiverse stuff kind of just took it to, oh, we're trying to, you know, make it scientific and cool, and it just didn't work, in my opinion. It felt like it was too much. You know, that was something that just kind of, in some ways, kind of killed the game a bit and the story a bit. It, like I said, it didn't completely ruin the game. I don't hate it like a lot of people do. I still think it's a perfectly good game, and my opinion still stands that Bioshock 2 is my favorite. It is the best one. You will not change my mind. Senor Sylveon agrees too. Like, Bioshock 2 is his favorite. But, like, for everyone who really hates on Bioshock Infinite, sorry about that. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of those people say. It's definitely an enjoyable game, and I do think it's worth it to play. I have not played any of the DLC. Like, I'm gonna be honest about that, because I know a lot of people have opinions and stuff about the DLC, and that's its whole other thing. But I haven't played the DLC, so I'm not going to speak on the burial at sea. Like, we're not going to talk about that. But honestly, I really did enjoy the game. Booker and Elizabeth, I think they have a great relationship. It's fun to watch. Elizabeth as a character, like, I really do like how, you know, when she sees you, because she was locked in a tower, kind of away from people, pretty more innocent and naive. So I do really like how she has this really big visceral reaction to, you know, the first time she sees Booker get in a gunfight. Like, the fact that she reacts to all of that stuff and everything, to me, like, I really like it. It makes her feel more like a person. And Booker, honestly, I like him as a character too, and the fact that he's voice acted, whereas the first two Bioshock games weren't, I don't see it as really a big deal, because it's not like, oh, they took Jack from the first game and then suddenly gave him a voice out of nowhere, because that would be weird and raise a little more problem with me. But, you know, since it's a completely different character, I'm totally fine with him having, you know, Booker being voice acted. It's all good by me. But the art style too, like, I like how Colombia looks, but I'm not gonna lie, and this is just a very personal thing, I kind of like exploring Rapture better a little bit personally, just because I feel like a lot of the sceneries in Colombia do kind of start to look the same. It doesn't look bad by any means. Like, I feel like if I was there in person and just exploring it, I would have liked it a lot better, would have been more interesting. But from a video game standpoint, for me, yeah, not my favorite area and scenery and all that, and a lot of places for me kind of mesh together and everything. So yeah, no, for that, it's again, that is a more subjective, being kind of picky thing. I wouldn't consider that a legit criticism for the game overall, because it really just depends, you know, what you're kind of looking for when it comes to that kind of stuff in a game. So that's just this is my thoughts and opinions. You can leave your thoughts and opinions on that down in the comments below. But honestly, I do think Bioshock Infinite is worth checking out. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It's a little above average, but there's definitely some flaws that, for me at least, really hold it back. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like. You don't have to, but it helps to let me know what y'all are enjoying watching. If you want to see more videos like this, I upload discussion review type videos every Monday and Friday, or you can hit that subscribe button to make it easier on yourself. Link down below is my vlog channel, Twitch. So I have the stream schedule up there, but I do stream every Tuesday through Saturday starting at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My Instagram is also Twitter, Discord, all that is linked down below. But that is going to be it, and I will see you all next time. Bye.